Just check this one. Fine. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. We're live. I'm sitting down today with Jerremy Newsome. What's up, Jeremy? Welcome back.
Man, how's it going?
Awesome. I'm glad to have you again. It's been a pleasure having you all these past 2 months, and you've been sharing a lot of good knowledge and stuff. And today we want to talk about specifically how to plan for success in 2019. I think it's a topic people are like should think about because like they have to plan for success. And you're a pro at this for sure. You've been doing it a lot of years, maybe more than I did. So we kind of want to start with that. And you guys can come to the chat if you're doing it live. Would appreciate, as always, so we can kind of interact with you and yeah, just chat with you if you want. So come to the chat. And Jeremy, tell people who you are a bit of background about yourself first.
Absolutely. And again, man, as usual, thank you so much for having me on and having me a part of this, and also for enriching so many lives. You're doing great things with your channel and teaching other people and sparking their interest in trading. So thank you. Just a little bit about me. I've been on this particular video series and podcast now. I think this is the 5th or 6th time. I've loved it. I've enjoyed it immensely. I started trading actively when I was about 20 years old, so 10 years ago. And I started doing pretty basic strategies, just buying stock and doing covered calls. And it slowly morphed into day trading and then options and then credit spreads, and went through some really crazy ups and downs in the accounts and learned a lot, did a lot of stupid things, learned a lot more, and then finally started achieving success after I did the exact things that we're going to talk about in today's session.
I love it. Awesome. So we can start with this. For people that have no clue how to plan, how should they start? Like, what is the first step that you should think about, in your opinion?
That's a good question, man. So for someone who might not have a plan or is struggling with doing one, I say start very simply. And that would be something like creating a plan for the next 3 to 4 days. Something pretty basic, pretty easy, but yet regimented. So for example, take 3 activities that you do pretty often and schedule them and make sure that you do them at the exact same time every day, not including work. Most people have a pretty good work schedule. So if you're supposed to get there at 9, you get there at 8:15 or 8:50 or not, whatever. So I want you to create a schedule for when you do X and when do you do Y and when do you do Z. So for example, if you want to trade and you're interested in learning the markets, at 7:15 for the next 3 days, from 7:15 to 8:30, you're in front of the charts back trading. And really, it just takes a small step in the right direction. I think one of the Chinese proverbs is the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time to plant a tree is today. So if you are struggling with creating a plan, just start it right now. Start building it. Create something small, something easy, something attainable. So when you do it, you'll feel better about yourself, and you will truly accomplish something and be able to do it on a larger scale going forward.
It's kind of like starting with a small step to kind of plan a small thing and then getting success to reinvest that in later more planning. That's awesome.
Exactly. I mean, just like if you're going to run a marathon, you're not going to just go out and run a marathon. You got to at least run a mile first.
Yeah. It's awesome. So there's people talking about planning for like a year, or planning even for like 5 years, planning your life goal, whatever you want to do later in life. People are talking about just planning for like the short term. How are you in that? Are you kind of long term, short term, or a little bit of both for yourself?
Very good question. I'm a little bit of both, and I'll give some great advice in just a few moments. But one of the things that I would suggest anyone does is don't underestimate how much you can accomplish in a year. Most people try to do everything in one day. So they're going to go, let's say you start a 10,000 push-up challenge for your gym or something. You try to do 10,000 push-ups in a day, which is hard, by the way. All right, that's very difficult. Trying to do 1,000 push-ups in a day is very hard. But what I'm getting at is, if you do 10,000 push-ups in a day, you're going to be so incredibly sore for the next 2 to 3 weeks that you probably won't actually do anything. You're going to get no workout done. You're not going to do anything at all. Start small, and like you mentioned, that way it'll at least give you that confirmation that you can do it, that you can accomplish it, that you can go forward. For me, I do a lot of shorter term goals. So I have a year goal. So for the next 12 months, what I'm going to do. And then I have my life goals. I challenge everyone to start with the smaller goals. The bigger ones, usually a little bit more challenging and they take a little bit more foresight. I do highly recommend investing some money in yourself. Now, this is not a sales pitch. This is me telling you, go out and print out like a nice piece of paper with some goals on it and laminate it. Spend like an hour and maybe 20 bucks and get your goals written down, get them somewhere where you can visually see them, put them next to your bedside table, put them in your bathroom or your car or wherever you're going. Spend 20 bucks, make it real, put it in front of you every single day. And so at least you will be able to achieve or start knocking off some of those as time progresses.
It's powerful. By the way, this is for someone who's had a lot of results in the past. You've been doing some crazy things with trading, which is awesome. And by the way, guys, we want to hear your questions. Comment below in the chat if you have any questions for Jeremy or I. We can answer them. And the best lives we do are the one where you ask a lot of questions because you kind of dictate the quality of these lives. And Jeremy is awesome to answer your question for sure. But the question you come up with are going to depend on like what we talk about for sure later on. So comment below with it. And I know we have Philip saying about Atomic Habits. Did you read that book in the past? It's a pretty good book.
So Philip, yeah, is asking about Atomic Habits. I'm going to put that one on my list as we're speaking. I have a YouTube series where I do a book a week, every single week, and I have not read Atomic Habits, so I'm going to literally do this. Ready? This is, by the way, a very, very useful tool. Reminders on your phone. Check out Atomic Habits tomorrow at 1 p.m. And bam, it's that simple. Right now it's in my phone. I'm gonna get a reminder. I'm gonna check it out. So I'm not gonna think about it until tomorrow. It's in the Google device. It's in the phone. Well, this is not Google. This is an Apple, by the way. Just letting everyone know. I'm an Apple fan, but it's in the reminder system, and it's there. So now I don't have to spend any brain power thinking about it or trying to remember it. That is one of the things that I could suggest initially. Is this is gonna sound crazy, but don't rely on your brain to remember everything. Many people try or strive to do that, and I am a habitual offender at trying to remember everything. You don't want to do that. There's a lot more memory that needs to be done and a lot more uses for your brain than trying to remember, oh, what was that book that someone told me about, or what was that question, or what was that website that I need to check out. Put it in a reminder, have it remind you next week or tomorrow or the next day. So at least you'll have a better chance of, even though you're not going to remember it, it'll get brought up to your attention so that you can follow up with it later.
Awesome, powerful. And so what would be cool is if you guys can comment below in the chat with your goal for this year, that way we can kind of go on your goals. But let's say someone wants to have as a goal to become a profitable trader by the end of the year. I think that's something people set like every year for the past couple of years. But how could they switch it to that this year that may really make it happen? They really achieve their goals for the first time, which would be awesome, by the way.
Yes, very good question. So the profitability is an outcome. And one of the things that I tell people to do is don't focus on an outcome, focus on what you can control. So you can't control profits. I get that. I think most people understand that. We can control a lot of things, though. You can control where you get into a trade. You can control where you get out of a trade. You can control how long you stay in a trade. You can control how big your position size is. There's a lot of things that you can control, but profitability is not one of them. You don't know what the stock's going to do or where it's going to go. So with that being the case, what I would say, if you want to trade profitably, obviously that's every single person's objective. Start coming up with some goals that you can quantifiably measure and obtain. For example, answer or be able to answer this question. On average, how much money do you lose on every single trade? Okay, so that'd be a really good start, right? So on average, how much do you lose? Finding out that number. That doesn't take a massive amount of time. There's a lot of softwares and programs that can do that. There's a lot of, you can build a spreadsheet. There's tons of tools that you can use, but that's a really good answer. The second thing you could do is answer this question. On average, how much do I win? Okay, so now you have two pieces of information. Then you ask yourself, on average, what's my win-loss ratio? And if you go through it and find out that you're a 50-50 trader, which most people are, and you're losing, I'm just going to throw out random numbers. Let's say you're losing $700 on average on every single trade, but you're winning $650. What would your advice be, Etienne, for someone in that position? If they're losing 700 on 50, but they're winning 650 on every trade.
Yeah, so something got to change for sure. They got to work on their strategies. That's for sure.
Yeah, something's going to have to change. And usually in a situation like that, the $700 loss on average is fine. If that's their maximum, if that's their average loss and their average gain 650, okay, this person's breaking even or losing a little bit. They're not in dire straits. They're not hemorrhaging money. But in a situation like that, so I've talked about 3 steps, 3 things that you can identify in order to become profitable. The next one is to go through all of your winners and find out what you did incorrectly. Most of the time, you got out of your winners too early. So then the step 4 would be creating a rule to help you determine and ascertain when you should not get out of a trade early. And then put that rule into your plan and then just do your best to follow that for, again, a certain time period, which could be, and my suggestion is 3 months. So it's not a full year. You have 3 months. Like you mentioned earlier, you write down a goal and you go, okay, here's the thing I'm going to do. Find out how much I'm winning, how much I'm losing, my average win-loss ratio, and then go through all of my winners and find out what I could have done differently. Because we can talk about the losers later. That's fine. We can get that. But most people, if you're 50-50, more than likely, you're just not doing the trades correctly for your winning trades. You're breaking even. And finding what you're doing wrong and what it's not necessarily a strategy, more or less, it's usually just the implementation of the strategy and what you could do better, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I love that you kind of look back at what you did first and what your results are, as opposed to just working on different things and doing random stuff that doesn't produce results. So you kind of look back, and then you can say what to work on. And I think that's awesome. That's what people should follow for sure.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
that's
I mean,
epic.
You brought up a great question, man. I mean, like I said, being the profitable, making money in the market. The thing is, you have to figure out what you're good at and what you're bad at, and sometimes just either eliminating what you're bad at or just becoming really, really good at what you're good at. You know, for example, Usain Bolt is one of the fastest humans on the planet, if not the fastest human in the world. And I don't know personally if he's very good at calculus or not, but he probably doesn't really care. You know, he can make money from pure speed and athleticism and working really, really hard and being a great leader. But calculus or chemistry or applied mathematics might not be his particular specialty. So the reason I'm bringing that up is because we don't necessarily have to change everything that we're bad at in order to be good. We can just excel at something that we are really good at and keep the losses as small as possible and just continue moving forward.
It's awesome. Kind of looking back to see your losses and your win. That's perfect. We had a great question in the chat that I kind of want to get to now because it's kind of on the point.
Agreed.
Philip was asking, you think that there becomes a point where you cannot optimize a strategy further? Well, like it's kind of too optimized or you cannot go further to make it profitable?
Woo, good question. So Philip, man, so asking about, do I think there comes a point where a strategy cannot be further optimized? I have to say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you can say no to that question because fully optimization would say that it's 100%. And we know that there's no such thing in the market as 100% success or 100% correctness. So I would have to say yes to that question. But as a preface, something that also we have to understand is all strategies work, just not all the time. And different market cycles will be really conducive for certain strategies. So for example, 2016 to 2018 was arguably a really easy time to trade. I mean, the markets kind of just went up. So it wasn't really that difficult to make money out there. But as a lot of people have experienced since 2018, right? 2018 until now was a little bit of a challenging year for a lot of people. You had crazy swings, massive ups and downs, really wild volatility. And that's going to change people, and that's going to change some strategies, and that's going to put some pressure on some strategies. So my answer is yes, there will be a time and a place in the market for certain strategies, and we kind of have to be able to figure out what the market looks like, when good strategies do work and when they don't, because there will be a time and a place for just about every single strategy.
Nice, perfect. We've talked about goal setting. I kind of want to go back there because it's really important for people to set them out properly now.
Okay.
So we've talked about the principle that if you trade something, then you could like work on improving it. But what if for someone that doesn't know what to trade, they're just starting out, and their goal is to have something that they can trade by the end of the year? How should they? Because they can be very easily overwhelmed. It's easy to kind of get lost in the advice of the coaches out there. So how can they follow a kind of a proven path to get to their goals, in your opinion?
Great question. If you're brand new and you're starting out and you don't really have any data like you're talking about, so what if someone's brand new? Where do they start? Where do they go? I mean, first of all, if you're brand new and you're listening to this podcast, congratulations. I mean, because you care, right? You are investing into yourself. You're investing time. You're growing. You want to be better. So that's, I mean, kudos to you for that. The second point of that would be, in my opinion, start with something that you know for sure. And what I mean by that is, if you are brand new, like you've never even heard of the stock market, you're definitely not listening to this podcast. But if you know what the stock market is,
Yeah.
and you know what a stock is, so you're familiar with what a stock is, and you're familiar with what the stock market is, you probably know that there are some companies out there that exist that are good companies that you use every day. So, for example, Walmart, Netflix, Target, Verizon, AT&T, Apple, Amazon, Google, Facebook, just to name a few. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Morgan Stanley, Citigroup. We can continue. Ford, GM. Pick a company that you're like, you know what? I know this company. Maybe you even work there. I spoke with a gentleman named Tom just last night who works at Workday, for example. That's ticker symbol WDAY. So find a company that you know and just start buying some shares every single week. It could be one share. It could be GoPro, right? GoPro is not a very expensive stock. And what it will do is it will just get you in the momentum of getting data, and it will get you excited. I have a mentor whoever, someone I'm working with. I have someone I'm working with who is just turned 21, did not know anything about the stock market 3 months ago. Knew zero, right? Didn't know anything at all. Didn't know what the stock market was, how it works, where it came from, nothing, which is awesome, totally fine. And I had him download the Robinhood app, and he started buying one share of GoPro a week, which was like $5 at a time, one share. And now he's hooked because with free commission, I think he's up like $3. So not a lot of money. I get that. But what's happening is it's instilling the principles slowly into his brain where you go, oh man, I get it. I understand how this stuff works. I didn't actually have to work that hard to make $3. But what happens is someone's brain is they start realizing, if I didn't have to work that hard for $3, could it have been 30? Or could it have been 300? Or could it have been 3,000? And the answer is, yeah, you just have to add some zeros. That's the only change. It's at that point, simple math. So if you don't know realistically much at all, slowly start by buying some shares of a company that you know and accumulate those shares. There's very rare instances where someone can, over the course of 2 to 3 years, buy shares of a company they really like. They know how they make money. Potentially they pay dividends like an AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile, right? They use their product, Colgate, Costco, Procter & Gamble, Johnson & Johnson, and you're buying a share a week. Over the course of a year, that's 52 shares. and you'll probably have an investment, depending on what you're buying, you'll have a decent chunk, and it will start instilling into your brain what's going on, what's happening, and you will get hooked. And that's the place to start, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's really important because I think for a lot of people, they start to trade and then they get to that point where they are afraid of trading. But that will kind of bring them back to being like accepting the fact that they would have to kind of invest and feel good about it. So I think it's a good strategy for that. Or people, if they're not sure of what to do, they can start to get more comfortable with what they do in trading, be less fearful, which is I think a good way to do it. It's awesome.
Bingo, my brother. Yep.
Yeah, and the other thing I want people to understand is that you could apply this to different markets. Like if you're good at one market, then you bring it to other markets after if you want. If you want to trade Forex or futures, you can do it after. So I think stocks is a great place to start because it's like easy for everyone to get into and they know the companies, but it can be applied to anything after. So
yeah, absolutely. And Aspel asks a really good question. So he says, how do you handle overfitting trading rules with changing markets?
yeah.
And what we have to understand is that markets will change without question. So you will have strategies that will more or less become either obsolete or very, very expensive. And the answer to that question will be one of two ways. Comes down to time frame. So when markets change, very frequently they're going to change on what's referred to as the intermediate time frame. The intermediate time frame is about a year to 2 years. Okay? Big picture, long term, 4 to 5 years. Obviously, you can get some changes without question over that time period, but it's a lot slower and you won't feel it nearly as much. So if you have a goal that says, you know what, I'm going to buy 1,000 shares of Apple over the next 5 years, then you're just going to be accumulating shares of Apple. You're probably going to be buying 10 shares a week for 4 years. And you're not really massively upset about what price it is that you buy Apple. 10 shares a week, every single week for the next 4 years, 5 years. So to really answer your question, Aspel, it's either a long-term time frame, you're going to be okay, or a very short-term time frame, you have the ability to be more flexible. So for example, if you are trading on a 5-minute, 1-minute, 15-minute, or hourly chart, you can be a lot more flexible on looking for trades, understanding you're still going to lose, but you're going to have a much better time at getting in and getting out much faster because you're on a smaller time frame and you're able to digest more information. You're able to get through more information, more data quickly, and you're able to kind of ascertain what works and what doesn't much faster. But bottom line, in my personal opinion, short-term trading is a very effective way to use the market to create cash flow. So if you do have a strategy that works on a smaller time frame, there will be times where it doesn't work. There will be days, weeks, maybe even a month or two where you struggle, but at some point that pattern will change back over to you, or it'll change back over to what you're used to. And as long as you didn't lose a lot of money when things were going bad, you'll have the ability to kind of be able to process it forward. So one of my answers is don't change your strategy that often. Once you learn a strategy, practice it, but the strategy is not going to change that often. Here's an example. Let's say you trade Forex, even though, everyone here knows I don't really trade Forex, but most of your listeners do. Yeah. Let's say you trade Forex and your entire strategy is all you do is you trade the USD Canadian dollar and you trade it on a 15-minute chart and you trade the 1330 exponential moving average cross. That's all you do. Sometimes it's going to work really well. Sometimes it's not going to work that well. If you lose less money than you win and you practice that strategy over a period of time, you will understand how it works. Once you understand the strategy doesn't change, right? The markets will change, the markets will move, but you're going to get crossovers. Sometimes you're not going to get crossovers. Sometimes it'll be flat. Sometimes you'll get a really good winner. Sometimes you're going to lose. But once you understand a strategy, the strategies will not change. So once you get that in your brain, okay, cool, I got that strategy, then figure out what market does that strategy work best. in my opinion, day trading doesn't work exceptionally well in slow-moving bullish markets, right? It can work, but it's a lot slower. Things are not as fun, and sometimes you have to hold swing trades a little bit longer. So in slow-term bullish markets, you really want to do swing trading or option selling if you're a stock trader. If it's a slow bullish trend, maybe you're owning shares and you're doing covered calls, but you're doing some type of bullish to neutral strategy. When the market's really choppy and you get a lot of volatility, ups and downs, like the last year and a half, day trading is exceptional, or just very short-term trading. The thing about Forex or currencies, as you know, Etienne and everyone else listening knows, they don't really trend that long, right? There's no such thing as the US dollar going to go up 300% against the Canadian dollar. That'll just never happen. So you're going to get swings, but it's never going to trend. Like Apple, since 2008, it's been in a bullish trend. So you can make really good money in a stock just holding it long periods of time, but in a currency, that's just simply not going to happen. So you do have to be able to kind of understand and go through some of the Dow theory behind markets. So that would be one of the answers that I have to that question as well, is kind of study, learn, and understand a lot about Dow theory.
Fantastic. And you mentioned a little bit earlier cash flow, and I must say that I learned a lot from you how to reinvest my profit from trading to other things. We talked about the stock market earlier, I think, and that's something I've been doing the past year. But for people that set goals to make a certain amount of money this year, like they want to save maybe, I don't know, $50,000 for a project they have, how should they go about it, in your opinion? Like, what should they put in place with trading involved, of course, for sure?
Ooh, man, you're starting to speak my language, buddy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So the really good news is, for anyone watching this, me and Etienne haven't talked about this yet, but I do have a website called treesormoney.com. If you want to check that out, pop over to there. I have a live event coming up in May, and you and I should work on that at some point together and talk to you. It's really just going to be about a trader psychology, the mindset of money. It's really focused on our thoughts and beliefs and goals about money. So treesormoney.com. I have a live event coming up in May. It's going to be incredible. Check it out. So
Cool.
the money aspect. So you're that man. What I love what you just said is you gave a specific number. You said $50,000. How can I save up, or how can I create or make $50,000 over the next year so that I can trade or invest that? The easiest way to make money is to use a skill that you already have. If trading is not one of your skills yet and you want it to become one of your skills, fantastic. Learn it. It's an incredible skill to have. It will be useful for the rest of your life. But if you, let's say, are a really good engineer, but not a trader, you've never actually made money in the stock market before, use your engineer knowledge, become a consultant, get a raise at work, do extra time at work, get a raise, quit your job and go get a better job. Do something inside of your work, something that is already skill related that you can do immediately to make that money. That really is one of the answers to the answer to the question, man. If you want to make any amount of money, which is fine. I mean, I applaud everyone here, make as much money as you can, because I firmly believe the more wealth there is in the world, the better off people will be. If you have a skill, if you're a doctor, lawyer, policeman, firefighter, teacher, I mean, the list goes on. Salesperson, I mean, if you're in sales, whatever you're selling, just become a little bit better and hone in on the craft and the skill that you're already really good at, right? If you're a programmer, find out a way to build a business for somebody or build a company for somebody and share in the profits or something. So use the skills that you already have to make that money. And then as you put that money into a savings account or into a trading account, over that period of time, once you get the money, you can also begin to put in time to learn how to properly grow it. And that's really the easiest answer to that question, because if you don't have any, haven't had any skills in trading, it takes time, man.
Yeah.
It's going to take 2 years at least of hard work, a lot of charts, a lot of reading, a lot of studying, some money spent on education or just losses or dumb mistakes or pressing the wrong buttons or whatever. It's going to take time. It will take perseverance, but 2 years is not that long. It's really not. So you're going to want to spend some time and some resources on educating yourself. Obviously, as you know, my friend, there's plenty of ways where you can cut down the learning curve. There's a lot of opportunities out there to learn from people, just like a relationship. If you're getting into a relationship with a lady or a boy, man or woman, you are going to know relatively soon if you like that person or not. And if you don't, cut ties, move on. There's other people. Same thing with trading. Go through other trading companies, go through trading education companies, find someone that you like, find someone that you appreciate, find someone that you resonate with. It can be man or woman, female or male, it doesn't really matter. Someone that you like, you know what, I like this person, I respect what they're saying, and just give them your time and attention for a period of time, 4-6 months. Learn from them, appreciate what they have, and start seeing if that skill works for you. And if it does, awesome. Stay with them, keep learning, keep growing. If it doesn't, cut ties, move on to someone else, learn some more information, and go through the process. I personally and somewhat selfishly think I'm very good at that, but there's many other people out there that you can learn from. It does not have to be just me, but these two people right here that you're watching, some of the best in the world. So link up with us however you can, whatever way you can, and we'll be absolutely happy to help you.
Yeah, I think you are. So that's perfect. And so what you're saying, which I totally agree with, is the fact that skills equal income. So the skill you have, the better you are at your skill, is going to translate to income, which is what I believe in totally, for sure.
That's it. That's it, man. Kim in the YouTube live asks a really good question.
Yeah.
He says, do you think it's possible for an individual retail trader to be profitable trading options? My reply to that is, I have two. Reply number one, who makes money in a casino? The answer is the owner of a casino. Like, okay. So if you can find a way to either own a casino or work in a casino, you can make money. The second way is have a system. Some kind of system. There are people out there in the world who make money every single year playing poker. Do you like poker, Etienne?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Me too. I like it a little bit. I'm decently well. I've never made money year after year playing poker. Never. But I like it. It's fun. It's a little side hobby of mine. Spend $1,000 a year. All is well. But there are people who make money every year playing poker. How is that possible? How is that possible? The answer is, as challenging as it is, as difficult as it is, as many variables and changes and as many things that can change and go wrong and be weird, people can make money if you have a system. And the system is risk control, don't do stupid things, and understand when to walk away and take your profit. Those three systems apply in trading. So the answer to your question, Kim, is absolutely. You're not able to see the screenshot. I'm 96% sure you can't see the screenshot. But I have a trader who texted me right now. You can't see. You can't see this, right, Etienne? No, you can't see that.
A little bit, yeah. People can see.
If you guys can see it, so this guy's texting me right now. He's up $1,500 today, and he was selling options on Amazon. $1,500, coaching student of mine, name is Seymour, $1,500. That's today. I could scroll and show you yesterday's. He made $4,500. The answer is yes. Without question, you certainly can make money trading options. It comes down to timing. Everything comes down to timing. It's all timing. Any strategy you have, timing. Everything in life comes down to timing. Poker comes down to timing. Relationships, effectively driving and not getting into an accident. Everything in life revolves in timing. So the answer is yes, absolutely. Master your timing and you'll make money trading options.
Yeah, good answer. I think it's simple and that's what people need, which is awesome.
Heck yeah. Oh man, another good question. By the way,
Yeah,
I always love your YouTube channel, man. I love your groups. Thank
it's
you everyone
awesome.
for being here and being all energized and excited. So,
People
gentlemen,
engage. Well, so if you have any questions, just comment below in the chat. We'll make sure to answer your question. And you are making these live really awesome. So keep coming up with your question, and they're awesome so far from what I've seen.
loving it.
So perfect.
That's right.
You want to answer Fast Pro's question or the one above?
Yeah, let's go at it. So, Fast
Go
Pro
ahead.
says, when trading, do you think it's okay to trade bigger position size, or should you stick to one position size all the time? The answer to that question is stick to one position size all the time for a certain period of time. That way you can measure if you did everything effectively or not. In science, when you do an experiment, now I will say I'm not a scientist, so if I mess this up, feel free to call me out, folks. But you have to have a variable and you have to have a constant. So a constant is something that pretty much doesn't change. You know the outcome, you know the results. This is a constant. So this is something that's like you're measuring based off of this, and then you have something over here that's changing. In order to effectively measure anything, you need a constant. So in trading, keep your risk the same size for a specific period of time. My opinion, that's 3 months. 3 months is a long time for a lot of traders. It's a long time to do anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you can do something for 3 months, you could probably do it for 3 years, most likely.
It's a good period of time where you see kind of the challenges that you're going to face for longer term.
Bingo. Bingo.
Yeah.
And it's enough time that something's going to come up in your life. Like that, something's going to challenge you, whatever it is. So keep your risk the exact same for 3 months. And it can be a very small risk. Personally, I let everyone know that if you risk 1% or lower, that's a good amount when you're starting out. Usually lower. As low as possible is a good number. It can be $50, $20, $100, $20, something small, nice and easy, where you get the mechanics, you understand how it works. Your heart's still beating a little bit, but nothing crazy, right? No Quaaludes from Wolf on Wall Street, just like a nice, soft, comfortable beat. So once you've gone through that 3 months process and you're like, oh man, I'm profitable, right? You go back to what I talked about at the very beginning. You look at your losses, you look at your wins, you look at your average win-loss ratio, you measure, see what you did well, see what you did bad, shrink some of the bad stuff, increase some of the good stuff. Then you can increase your risk size. And I say do that every 3 months. If you're profitable every 3 months, just continue increasing your risk size to the point where until you become financially independent.
Epic. Yeah, that works well. And I guess like having this chance of increasing what you trade, the position size you trade, comes with experience too. You cannot do this from day one because like you screw up. And I know traders that do really well on varying their size when they trade, but they've been having this big backlog of like experiences, and they know what to expect from the type of trade that they enter. So that's a different thing. But,
Absolutely, absolutely,
awesome.
man.
I love Philip's question. So during a trading session, do you usually focus on trading one system or trade multiple systems at the same time?
Can you clarify that for me? I'm assuming I know what you mean, Philip, but when you, okay, you said trading session, do you trade multiple systems? So I'm assuming you're not talking about brokers. You're talking about like a strategy, right? Not like systems like operating systems or computer systems or brokers.
No, probably strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about just strategy. Initially, yes, focus on one. Michael Jordan played basketball really well. Baseball, not so much. Same thing with Bo Jackson, all right, and Deion Sanders, other people who've done multiple sports. Initially, focus on one, understand how it works, practice it. So day trading, for example. Let's say you're trading Forex or stocks or options, doesn't matter. All right, focus on day trading for a solid chunk of time. 3 months, 5 months, 6 months. Get to the point where if you pick a system that you like, this system you should understand it. Like mentally, you should be able to explain it to a 4-year-old or 9-year-old. Explain your system. Hey, I day trade. I buy a stock at 100. I sell it at 101 every single day. Does that make sense? Yep. Okay, cool. Move on. Once that you can explain your system and the system is understandable to truly like a 9-year-old, very easy, simplistic system, Once you do that, do it if you like it and it matches your time frame of work or life or just general life stuff. Once you are comfortable with that, do it until you're profitable. And then you get it and you're like, all right, I understand this. Now let me work on learning a new strategy. And then you're going to understand the when and the why and the where of learning that strategy. So the perfect example is this guy who's texting me right now, Seymour. He first started learning how to day trade, and he focused on day trading for about 2 years. He only went long, just bullish. That was it. Bullish day trades. 2 things, nothing else. All right. And he did that for 2 years. It's a long time. Did it very well. After the first year, he started learning how to, do everything well. He started increasing his risk. I think he started out with like $20 at a time, nothing crazy. After the second year, 2 full years, he asked me, all right, Jeremy, I want to play money. I want to play stocks on the short side. How do I do that? He didn't even know how to short, ladies and gentlemen. He was just going bullish. So he asked me how to short. We have a coaching session. I tell him. He understands it. He does an entire 6 months practicing shorting trades. That's all he does. Short day trades for 6 months. Okay? He started doing really well with that. We're 2.5 years in. He quits his job at Best Buy. Just quits his job. Throws in the towel, says, I'm trading full time. Now starts learning futures. All right? So he does 6 months of futures trading along with his day trading. All right, so he knows how to day trade. He does bullish and bearish. Then he starts learning futures. So now 6 months after that, what are we in? 3 years in. So 3 years into trading, he quit his job after 2.5 years. Now he learns credit spreads, which is option selling. And that happened like a week ago. He's 3.5 years into trading. Only learned credit spreads a week or 2 ago and started just trading them and making a little bit of money recently. So that's the best answer I can give you is yes, start with one system at a time, figure out a way to exploit it, figure out a way to make money with that system, do it for a while, learn it, understand it, more or less master it, master yourself, and then move on to the next strategy.
Yeah, and that right there is a big difference between someone that's going to stay a beginner because he tries different things at the same time, and someone becoming an expert in its field. And that's, I think, awesome. That's the best you can try for. So
yeah,
excellent.
I mean, think about like if you're playing Texas Holdem versus Omaha. That's 2 different games, man. I am terrible at Omaha. Like if there's an Omaha pot limit, that's a no-go for me. Like I'm not even going to get to that table. Texas Hold'em, entirely different game. And that's the perfect explanation. I mean, you got to focus on one versus the other, understand it, learn it, process it, and kind of go from there.
Excellent. That's awesome. What about, and I kind of want to go back to goals again, because that's a topic we had for today. But so here's a question that I find interesting from Yodarsh, who's asking about emotions. But let's say for someone that wants to start controlling their, well, not controlling, but someone that wants to master their mindset this year, what do you think they should think about? Is it just the money thing we talk about, or something different? Or even like discipline? They want to be more disciplined.
Wow, that's a tough question. You know what? I think that's the first time I've been asked that question that way. I initially think you should study money. Study your relationship with money, because very few people have ever done that. Most people know what discipline is. Most people know how to be disciplined. Now, they may or may not do it because it's hard. I understand that. Totally get it. But if you are trading to make money, that is going to be a result of an action. And if your brain hasn't studied a lot about money, not just what money is, like your relationship to money, your subconscious beliefs and thoughts about money, then you might have a really challenging time actually making it. Let me give you one example. So this is something I'm going to talk about in my live conference in May. It's going to be in Florida. about greed. So a lot of people say the stock market is controlled by fear and greed. I disagree with that. I don't think it's fear and greed. I think it's fear and optimism. I do not think most stock market participants are greedy. I truly don't. I think they're financially zealous. They want to make a lot of money. For example, man, if you made $2 million next year, which I hope you do, would you give some to charity or give some away to your friends or give some to your parents or do something generous with it?
Of course.
Yeah. So therein lies, you're not greedy. So if you want to do anything with your money, most people want to help their family. Most people want to give more and contribute more and just be a better person. You're not greedy. Greed is a state of the soul. Greed can never be quenched. You can never, ever have enough money. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett give away most of their money, and then they go get more. More money is given to them because they're not greedy. So if you believe subconsciously that the market is controlled by fear and greed, and if you make money that you're greedy, guess what? Every dollar that you make, you're going to get closer to being greedy subconsciously, and your brain will sabotage you, and you're going to end up giving all your money back anyway. Because your brain doesn't want you to be greedy. No one wants to be a greedy person, so they end up giving their money away. I personally think studying the relationship with money is a massive way to get an edge in trading. It's something that very few people talk about. It is discussed in Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. It's also discussed the entire book in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Reminiscence of a Stock Operator by Jesse Livermore. A few other books out there. Money Grows on Trees by Jerremy Newsome. Hey, there's a few other books that talk about just your relationship to money and your mental approach to it. I think that's step number one, man, because it's a very, very good question. The discipline thing, it's hard. It's hard to be disciplined. But if you understand why you're doing it, what money means to you, you're comfortable with it, you're excited about it, you want more money, you're totally in line with your thinking, everything is good to go, it will be easier to be more disciplined because you'll be more in line with your targeted focus and approach.
Excellent. And that's epic. That's an epic answer. Now, how would you go about studying money and your relationship with money exactly? Is it like you sit down with a journal or something different?
Both.
And I know that's a tough question, but
no, it's not really. Read books. Read books that have the word money in the title. There are a lot of them. And you have to study your relationship with money because everyone who is here wants more money. Simple as that. If you have a negative perception on rich people, so if you think, oh, rich people are all greedy, man, this person's such an a-hole, they're so mean, they're never generous, they're not going to give anything away, they're all just a bunch of greedy bastards. If that's your perception on rich people, do you think your brain wants you to become rich? If every time you see a Porsche or a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, you go, what a greedy SOB. Can't believe this person's driving a Porsche. You probably ain't going to get a Porsche in your life because you link negativity with Porsches. Are Porsches bad? No. Are Maseratis bad? No. They're just a tool. They're just the thing from point A to point B. So you got to study your relationship with money and what that means. And so my best advice on that is find books or conferences or coaches or mentors or something that just talk about money so you can learn more about it. As traders, we are literally trading two things: human emotion and money. Got to study those two things if you're gonna do really well in this game. You got to know those two aspects of it because that's all we're doing. We're trading money and human emotion.
Yeah, for me, the biggest thing that really helped in terms of money was like not being attached to it and like giving more and providing more to other people, and that's something also taught me quite a lot. That made a big difference. So I've seen even like a spike in income when I started to even give more and just not being attached to it. So it's pretty epic, pretty awesome.
Boom, baby. Boom. Exactly. Yes, you're totally correct. And thank you for that. Those kind of words. But yeah, man, I'm really glad this is going to that happen to you, and it's going to continue to happen, right? Because we're going to hit barriers or hurdles at some point. I'm at one right now where I'm like, man, do I really want to spend that much money? And I got to remind myself, you're not spending money, you're investing it. And so you go, all right, I'm going to do it. And you write the check or whatever. And it can be scary, it can be daunting, but whatever it is, you have an opportunity to make that back if you're doing it with the right train of thought, with the right approach, with the right mindset and the right focus. Money can always be created. You can always make more. So that's my thought process, is just go out and make it.
Excellent. Philip was asking, any habits, activities you guys do to take the edge off during drawdown? So like recovering from drawdown, any habits or processes you have for yourself?
I do. Let me, while I'm doing that, I'm going to type in 6 steps for losing streak real life trading. I have a really good article on it. I don't remember the exact title, but I'll post it as soon as I pull it up. But I'll let you know. I wrote the article, so I know what it is. 6 things I do when I'm on a losing streak. All right, so I'm gonna throw this in the chat pane. Etienne, you're welcome to share that or whatever you need to do with it. Of course. But bottom line, number 1, don't change what you're doing. Right? Don't drastically change everything. Throw in the towel and go, okay, well, I'm entirely done with that, so I'm never gonna do that again. I'm never gonna trade Forex again because Forex is rigged and this is stupid, or options or stocks or whatever. Don't change everything on a dime, number 1. Number 2, yeah, take a break, relax, take your mind off something. Apparently everyone says do that, so if you're stressed at your job or whatever, you have vacations. I mean, take a break, take a day during the market open. Take a day off, like a Monday, Tuesday, just relax, man. Go do something enjoyable, just to decompress, take your mind off something. One of the ones that is in that article is do something you've never done before. So for me, that's a fun one. If it's traveling or picking a spot to go eat, as simple as that, eating something I've never had before, drinking something I've never drank before, doing something I've never done before, putting your body and your mind in a different experience, because it will create different brain waves. It will create different brain synapses. It will create different memories, and you will forget about the trading for a while. During that moment, you'll forget all about it, and then just come back with a fresh slate and attack it again, because drawdowns will happen. We all will lose at some point in trading again and again and again. It seems like nothing's working. And I read that article every single time I'm on a losing streak, just to remind myself.
It's awesome. And that's a good strategy to kind of have a list of, I call this like a get back up ritual, where you kind of, when you fall, you get back up with that. So it's powerful, really epic. Yeah. Really good. Perfect. Yeah. There was a question I saw from, this is Fast Pro. So kind of more advanced technical, but when you reach a certain level of income from trading, do you withdraw the money and stick to like a lower amount in your account? Or do you just like keep growing and keep growing over time to get a big account, a big chunk of capital? In your opinion?
So when they make big money and they've achieved financial freedom, do they continue to trade it, or do they take their money out? Great question. That is going to be one of the goals that you need to set for yourself. And in this discussion, we're talking about goals. You always are going to have money there. I know we don't have a lot of time left, but 20 seconds. I discovered the other day that I do not have an emergency savings account. Think about that. I have no emergency savings. Why? I mean, I trade the stock market. So I have cash in an account over there. If something really gets that bad, I can pull money out, but I can always use that to do something. It's a different line of thinking, right? I know everyone says, oh, have 6 months saved up in case you get fired from a job. I don't have a job. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't get fired. Like, I work for myself, have been for the last 4.5 years. I have no emergency savings plan. So I have no plan B. Like, a plan A is plan A. I'm trading, and if something really, really goes bad, yes, I'll pull some money out. So to answer that question, that's going to need to come up with a goal I think $100,000 is a very attainable goal for a lot of people. That is a really big, like, line in the sand. Once you get there, huge goal to achieve. But number two, yes, you want to pull money out along the way. You have to, you must, you should. It's imperative, because that's the money part of the brain. Link pleasure with doing the right thing. So you are going to get your account pulling out. You are going to take money out of your account. You're going to do that every now and then. I think that's absolutely fine. In fact, if you make money every single month, you can pull money out. Because what you're going to want to do is create multiple streams of income. The stock market should be 2, maximum 3 streams of your income. So it could be cash flow generating from day trading, swing trading, option trading, shorter term, weeks to months. That could be 2. And then 3 can be as simple as dividends, right? You're getting a dividend stream, or you're getting something where you're making money off that way. So that's a potential opportunity there. But there's realistically, after that, you're going to want to have other streams of income. You're going to want to have other things going on: rental properties, e-commerce business, book sales, consulting, your personal line of whatever it is you're selling. You got to have other streams of income. All wealthy people have multiple streams of income, every single one of them. And it doesn't matter if you have $400 million or 400. Well, no one has 400 billion yet, but 400 million, 100 million, 2 million, 100,000. You got to have different streams of income. And for a lot of people right now, it's their job, and that's their number one stream. Got to have other streams, and they can be small. Doesn't have to be big yet, but it can grow. It can become big.
Yeah. And all the big traders I talk to, they all have different streams of income. They never have only one. Because, like, some people do for some time, but then they realize pretty quickly they have this kind of reality check where they get to understand they kind of have only one. They have to diversify. And then they work on that a little bit later on. But most people, almost everyone has that now. So.
Exactly. Yep, totally. You're totally correct, man. And I would love to address Louis's and Edward's question, because Edward says, what if your account gets frozen? And Louis says he has student fees per month. He's not hurting. I'm not hurting at all. I'm doing extremely well on all facets of life, and I celebrate that, man. So yes, you're totally correct. I'm not hurting. And I implore and challenge everyone. I don't want anyone to hurt. My goal and all I do in life, my mission in life, is to enrich lives with mentally liberating education. Louis, if you want help, man, I'll teach you for free. I don't care. I don't care how much someone pays me for their help. Doesn't bother me. I want to change and impact people's lives. And here's the thing I know. If you do that with any skill in life, it could be basketball, it can be baseball, football, trading, being a movie star, being a dentist, doctor, teacher, you can get paid extremely well when you master a strategy, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. Make as much money as you can, do as many things as you can. I give a lot of my money to charity. I always do my absolute best to help other people. So yeah, you're totally correct, man. I'm not hurting at all. And I would love for you to be in that exact same position. I would love for you to be in the exact same position where you can leave any point in your time at any point in the day and do whatever it is that you want, because it's exciting. My boy Etienne over there is in Bangkok right now, and I'm in Augusta, Georgia, about to do a presentation at an Army base for our servicemen and women here in the United States. Man, having the ability to do whatever you want, whenever you want, at any place in the world is a liberating feeling, and I truly want other people to experience that.
Awesome, epic. Do you want to answer the what if your account freeze?
Yes. So to answer that, I mean, I have multiple accounts. So if I have Thinkorswim account, I have an Interactive Brokers account. I even have a little bit of money stashed in Robinhood. I also have, I do have some cash in a safe, like $300 in $2 bills. I have a few $100 bills that I collect. I have some gold. I have some silver. So, if things really, really got tough, I do have credit cards. I can use credit cards. I have a home equity line of credit. Guys, money grows on trees. Money is everywhere. Just go get some. Like, if things got really bad, I could get a cash advance. I could probably ask someone for money. I could call my boy Etienne and he'd give me some money. I'd give it back to him, right? Money's everywhere. So I'm not really stressed about the accounts getting frozen. Sure, it could happen, and maybe one day it will. And if, there's a nuclear EMP goes off and the whole world goes dark and there's no internet, and there's no technology, and there's no stock market, we're gonna be in bigger issues. And back to what I was saying, Luis, and you're absolutely correct. When you said just living off of trading, it's a dream, but very difficult. It's very hard, man. It's very, very, very hard. In fact, it's hard doing anything for a living. This by yourself. So if you're a professional athlete, how hard is it to be a professional soccer player and get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year? Insanely difficult. So man, it ain't just trading. It's hard doing anything for yourself that can make a living. It doesn't matter if you're cleaning roofs, if you're pressure cleaning driveways, if you're detailing cars, if you're doing a transportation oil company, driving trucks. It's hard, man. It's challenging. So my thing is, don't make it all about one. Find a way to do multiple things. I get it. Every single trader who's watching this loves trading to their core, like I do. I love trading. So if you love it, find other ways to implement it and find other ways for it to pay you, and just do it slowly.
Awesome. And by the way, you're having your free trading room week next week, right? So people can join this and they can come in. That's going to be epic. You did it last year. I was thrilled about it. I joined a few times, and you're doing it again, which is awesome, I think. So talk about this a little bit.
Epic. I just posted the link. I made this morning just for the desire to trade people. Anyone who's with a desire to trade, you're welcome to use that link so that I know that you came from this particular podcast. So I can give you some shout outs in the room. If you want to see how I day trade, and by the way, I'm getting on the room as soon as I get off this webinar. I'm going to hop into the room in just a few minutes after this. If you guys want to see how I trade, answer questions live. It's free. No sales pitches. Just get in. It's exciting. You're going to love it. You're going to get so much information. It's the best trading room on the planet, in my opinion. I'm allowed to say that.
I believe so. So yeah, definitely.
I mean, it's definitely up there. So it's like if you're the Seattle Seahawks, it's like, okay, you're not going to the Super Bowl, but you're still a professional team. All I'm getting at is it's a great program. Ladies and gentlemen, sign up, register. I would love to help each and every one of you achieve your dreams of trading full time. Just as Philip says, if it wasn't hard, the rewards would not be great. The rewards are amazing. Get your rewards in. Learn to trade. I've been doing that room for 4 years consistently. If I wasn't good, people wouldn't be there. I wouldn't be one of the biggest on the internet. Sign up. It's amazing. Let's trade together. Let's make loads of money together. Let's enrich lives together. Let's help charities together. Let's do it together. I'm pumped.
Yeah. And compared to other trading rooms, it's like really, really more energetic, as opposed to like someone sitting there and talking about random stuff about the market. So you're doing it a very different way, which I kind of like. It's awesome.
Thank you.
Very different from most people. So love it. So links can be there. I'll put it in the chat. Also, it's there already. It's in the description too, if you want to check this out. And he's doing it only like 1 or twice a year, so it doesn't happen all the time. So make sure you do it for now. You join that, and it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be next week, the whole week. So
whole week, baby.
I'll be there a few days also if I can.
I love you, my man. Thank you so much. Right. As always, I love doing these. And thank you for all of your listeners. Thank you for your time and energy, man. I know you spend a lot of time doing this, so thank you.
Cool. So thank you, Jeremy, and we appreciate you guys. We'll catch you back here, I think, tomorrow. Ciao.